What's up, guys? It is another episode. Jay-Z versus the movies. Today, here we are talking about Sonic 1. The movie Sonic 1 from 2020. God, what a year, right? Isn't it the best year of all of our lives was 2020? I can't even believe this movie made it out into theaters. I do remember seeing it in theaters a couple of times. This must have been before everything shit hit the fan in 2020, for sure. But, yeah, I remember the initial reaction to a trailer for this being shown, and everyone lost their fucking minds because Sonic looked terrible. And he still, yeah, he looked terrible back then. I mean, if you go back and watch that old trailer, and then you watch a new trailer, that they did literally the same trailer, but they went back and fixed Sonic's, like, look. It was awful before. It looked like a meme or something. It was totally terrible. Apparently they reused that in Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers or some shit. Like that new Chip and Dale movie that, like, I didn't watch. Apparently that bad Sonic design is in there somewhere, so that's fun, I guess. But, like, the fans literally got them to change the design of this fucking Sonic that looked really bad, into something that looked closer to the Sonic that we know and love nowadays. We're just closer to Sonic's design in general. And, on that note, the Sonic in the movie actually looks a lot like Sonic. A lot like Sonic should look in a movie like this. Now, the movie's live action, as opposed to the Mario movie, which was completely animated, and the other Mario movie, which was completely live action, except for some CG effects and whatnot. But this is, well, obviously Sonic is CG and whatnot, but it is a live action movie that has Sonic in it and whatnot. But it looks pretty good overall. I would say the movie's looks good for a live action sort of movie. You always get a little bit of that uncanny valley effect, but, like, for this one it wasn't quite as, like, weird as some of the moments in, like, Detective Pikachu and stuff. Like, what was it, like Ludicolo? He just looks, like, ridiculous in that movie. Like, so I felt like it looked good for what it is. The premise is it's Sonic, and he's in the real world, and he's been hanging out there for years. He used to be in his world. We get, like, a brief glimpse at the beginning of, like, Green Hill Zone. It's not called Green Hill Zone because he goes to Green Hills later. So, but what is intended to be like Green Hill Zone from the games, we get a glimpse of that later. I mean, at the beginning of the movie. And then, yeah, we're introduced to this owl character, Longhorn or something. And she never comes back. She just kind of dies off in the first little bit there. Which is interesting. Like, what was with that? Like, what was with her character, right? Do we get answers to that in the sequel? I don't honestly remember. I know there's more echidnas and stuff in the sequel. Do we get answers to why the tribe was trying to take him? Like, I guess for his power or whatever. So, I know we needed, like, a character to be, like, Sonic's mentor, guardian character or whatever, but, like, I don't know, she just doesn't really come up that much, as far as I can tell. Which is fine, it's just kind of odd that, hey, here's a character, and now she's dead, you know, kind of thing. So, yeah, I mean, spoilers for Sonic 1, by the way. And maybe Sonic 2, I can't really remember a lot about Sonic 2. I mean, I do remember enough about it. I remember it being a really good movie, and on initial viewing of Sonic 2, I did think it was better than this movie, which at this point is actually a big bar because this movie was actually really good on rewatch. So, I had a really good time with it. Is it as good as the Mario movie? Like, I don't think so. There was definitely some more crude humor, and I know James Rolfe pointed this out in his video, comparing the two, but there was like some fart jokes and, you know, all these typical like kid jokes and a lot of references to things. And I think references can be done well, but I don't know. I know the Mario movie will be more timeless, I feel like, because it's more of just a celebration of Mario. It's not like, oh hey, look, we're talking about Keanu Reeves, who was in Speed, that movie. You know, either you've seen that movie or you haven't, but we all know who Keanu Reeves is, so I guess it's not really like a deep cut reference, but like, you know, I don't know. It like kind of is trying to establish that this is where Sonic gets his one-liners from, is like old action movies and whatever, which is kind of cool. I like that. I think that works pretty well. Let's see what else. So yeah, Sonic has these rings. They open portals to other worlds and whatever. The Longhorn lady opens the portal to Earth, so he goes there, and then he's just kind of hanging out for years and years and years, and he's like looking in on this family, who he refers to as the Donut Lord and the Pretzel Lady. So, yeah, and the Donut Lord is Tom. He's a cop. He, basically is like he's like the sheriff in Green Hills there, which is a town and not a zone in a Sonic game. It's like this little backwoods town, you know, kind of in the northwest there. So there, yeah, you know, everything's pretty peaceful there. The Pretzel Lady, she's his wife, a veterinarian. I don't remember her name, but I do, you know, I remember her, so, she's got, like, a sister who doesn't like Tom very much. That's, like, a plot point later in the movie. And, like, his niece of that sister gives Sonic his, like, iconic red shoes later. Like, he starts with this beat-up, tattered pair of shoes, and then he gets his iconic red shoes later because of her, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, anyway, so he's just kind of hanging out. They don't know that he exists. There's like this one crazy guy that kind of knows that he exists, but nobody believes him. They all just think he's crazy. Sonic, the Sonic drawing makes an appearance at that. That's what the crazy guy like shows them. Like, this is the thing. This is what I've seen every night. And they're just like, nah, this guy's fucking nuts. And but you know, it's a terrible picture to show him. By the way, like you couldn't have drawn any better, I guess. But I don't know. It's funny because it's Sonic, you know. Like, so they're referencing stuff like that. There's not as many kind of references to like Sonic and stuff and like his history in here. I mean, there are some like the chili dogs and that kind of thing, but the Mario movie was just like littered with references, which was cool. But I was also animated and also kind of had the time to breathe and, well, I mean, I guess not really, but the way it was structured, it was meant to show off more. This is just kind of a down-to-earth Sonic sort of movie in a lot of ways. Anyway, he's hanging out. He's watching them live their lives, and he's enjoying that vicariously, but at some point, that kind of it's not enough for him. There's a scene where he, like, runs past a speed thing, the speed trap, and that's kind of like how the Donut Lord finds his one of his quills or whatever. So he holds on to this quill, and at some point he's watching this baseball game, and then he like goes and plays the game himself, just by himself. He plays like all the positions and everything. And at the end of that, he kind of realizes like, hey, I I'm not enjoying this because nobody knows that I'm here. You know what the owl lady said? Owl lady, like Ida, no. Like the owl lady from earlier in the movie, she said, like, just stay hidden, keep on running, or whatever. But Sonic's like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't really want to be doing that anymore. I need to, you know, I don't know. I need something. I need people or something. But he doesn't really do anything about that yet. Like, he kind of just is like, alright, so he starts running around the bases or whatever, just to, like, try to run from his problems or whatnot. And, like, he ends up going, like, I don't want to say supersonic, but, like, supersonic speed, you know. He's got this, like, charged up, like, blue state in this movie, kind of like, I don't know, yeah, so, like, it's just really powerful. It makes him go, like, really fast and stuff, and gives him more power. So, this charged up state, like, basically creates an EMT that, like, blows out the power in, like, they said the whole Northwest of the United States. Like, it's kind of a lot. I guess that's what it was. I don't know. At least in Green Hills. But the government, like, notices this, and they're like, man, is this like a nuclear attack or something? So they call in Robotnik, who's played by Jim Carrey, who does a great job as Jim Carrey. All the actors in this movie are pretty good, but, like, Jim Carrey, like, really steals the show, you know, like, oh my god. You know, so, yeah, so there's a scene, you know, after that, Sonic realizes, like, hey, I knocked out the power in this entire town. Tom, like, oh, he also gets accepted as, like, a San Francisco Police Department person or whatever. That's, like, been his dream to leave town and, like, be a big city cop, basically, which comes up later in the movie, but, like, he gets accepted to that, so there's, like, a whole side plot of him trying to, like, figure that out, and, like, his wife goes to move to San Francisco, look for apartments or whatever. Anyway, so Sonic realizes that he's, like, he's gonna be known now if he doesn't get out of here, so, the safe world after Earth was this mushroom planet, and he's like, I hate mushrooms, which is so funny, because, like, initially everyone was like, oh, that's kind of like a jab at Mario, and now, with the Mario movie, Mario also hates mushrooms, so it's, like, kind of a funny, like, did they do that? Did they like, know about the Sonic movie, and then they put that line in there? Because Mario says the same thing, like, I hate mushrooms, or whatever. Just kind of funny, I don't know. So, yeah. So he's, like, ready to go to this planet, almost. He's standing inside Tom's garage, and then, like, all of a sudden Tom comes in there, because he, like, hears the sound or whatever, and he's, like, he thinks it's a raccoon, because they set that up earlier in the movie, too. So, he, like, freaks out, and he shoots him with a tranquilizer gun, and Sonic gets knocked out, and, just as he threw a ring, to San Francisco, and there's, like, this really tall building there, I can't remember what it's called or whatever, but he drops his rings there, and then the ring closes up, so he can't just, like, teleport anywhere or whatever. So, when he wakes up, he like, breaks out of this cage that Tom had him in, and then they, like, have a conversation, and, he realizes he's just kind of, like, a weird hedgehog thing, but he's just kind of normal, too. But anyway, so then Robotnik comes sniffing around, and he's trying to find Sonic, because he has, like, he knows, he's got, like, the power readings and whatnot, and Tom's, like, trying to hide Sonic, because, you know, he doesn't want Robotnik to get him or whatever, and he's still got that quill, and then Robotnik finds the quill later, and he's like, I knew I was right about this, or whatever. He's got all these, like, weird Jim Carrey-esque lines and funny moments and stuff. He's quite the character in this movie, and he's crazy. He does such a good job as Robotnik. Like, seriously one of the standouts of the movie. The humor, especially, is pretty on point. Outside of like the occasional fart joke or whatever, that kind of stuff is like not necessary. But everything else is very on point. All really pretty well done and enjoyable for the most part, humor-wise. So, yeah, so he finds that Sonic is there, and but like Jim Carrey's got these Jim Carrey, and Robotnik's got these drones, and he's like pointed them on Tom, but he's like, Tom's not gonna sell out Sonic, but Sonic just comes out like right about as he's about to like open fire on him or whatever, and he's like, no, just like, you can have me, just like let Tom go or whatever. Then they like Tom or Eggman gets distracted or something. Tom like knocks him out with like punching him or something, and then they have to like fight the drone, and it like wrecks their whole house basically. They eventually get it down. Yeah, and then they have to like go on this road trip to San Francisco basically because Sonic lost his rings or whatever. So he can't just go there by himself. I mean, he can. They make this funny little bit about it where it's like, he's like, oh, I ran west and I just hit the Pacific Ocean or whatever. You have to show me how to get to San Francisco. So it's just like them hanging out, and of course they bond and grow over time. They stop at this bar, and there's like this scene where Sonic like goes faster than everything else, and like everything's just frozen in time because he's going so fast. He like does all these pranks and shit. Tom tells him about the bucket list kind of thing, so he wants to like do all this stuff. So they like do all this stuff on his bucket list, and one of the things is like make a real friend or whatever. It's like, oh, okay. So like that's part of the heart of the movie, is like him bonding with this guy Tom, and like learning to make friends and learning to have a family and not have to hide anymore. That's kind of nice. I mean, that's a good message. While also trying to not get killed by Eggman. So that's another thing. He actually does call him Eggman later on too, which is pretty good. But yeah, so Eggman starts coming after them with like these really Dr. Robotnik-esque machines, like from the games, basically. Like it starts off as a tank, and then it like goes to a smaller thing and a smaller thing, and like an even smaller one that like cuts his vehicle in half or whatever. It's crazy. But yeah, there's like lots of good action scenes in the movie too. I thought those were pretty well done. Notable lack of Sonic music in the movie. It happens every now and again, but like seriously, in comparison to the Mario movie, where like everything is Mario music, it was pretty disappointing in terms of Sonic music. They use a couple of them, but like, goddamn, Sonic has some iconic music. Like, fucking use it, dude. Like, we all know it. They use it like in the credits and stuff. It's like not good enough, not good enough. They make little allusions to it, but it needs to like go full force or whatever. So yeah. As far as I remember, there's no Crush 40 in either movie, so Sonic 3, you better have some Crush 40. If the third Sonic movie, which has alluded to Shadow, doesn't have City Escape, like it doesn't have that sequence, I'm gonna lose it. They're skipping over Sonic Adventure, it seems like. So if they're going to Sonic Adventure 2, I better at least get City Escape, because that game is terrible, but City Escape is a jam. So if that's not in there, I'm gonna be kind of it's just gonna kill me. Anyway, So where are we at? Let's see. Yeah, and I mean, like, he's like wanted and whatever. Tom is, because he's helping out Sonic. Is that it? Is that the whole soundtrack? Are you fucking kidding me? God damn it. Um, so Tom's helping out Sonic. So he's like a wanted criminal. They make it to San Francisco to, um, um, to the aunt's house or whatever. And so yeah, she's just given Tom shit like a bunch of times, and she keeps telling her sister like, "Hey, you better divorce this guy or whatever, for whatever reason." I don't know. She just doesn't like Tom. It's a whole joke throughout the thing. Um, let's see. What else? Anyway, so yeah, so they're in San Francisco there. They go to the building that they need to go to. Um, Tom like makes up something about like try needing to get in there because there's somebody jumping off the roof, which is ironic because they jump off the roof later. Uh, well, Sonic pushes them off the roof, but that's not the point. So yeah, and then like Robotnik shows up or whatever, and this is like one of the this is the battle. This is like the battle, the final kind of battle thing. The movie's pretty short. It's like an hour and a half long. I probably skipped over some good details there, but I don't know. I just kind of forgot. Anyway, so he's chasing down Sonic. It starts off on that roof though, um, initially, and he pushes like a million missiles at Sonic. You know, this was all in the trailer too, and then he like goes and like knocks them all away, goes slow motion again. So, yeah, basically, it's just another big action scene. Eggman chasing it. This is what he calls him, Eggman too, by the way. Um, the rivalry between Sonic and Jim Carrey as Robotnik or Eggman or whatever is just really good. So yeah, so yeah, I don't know. It's just another great action scene. They actually use the rings to like go across like they go to like Paris, they go to like the pyramids, all these like great wonders of the world kind of thing. So I don't know. It's kind of cool to see all of that. Um, but then they end up in Green Hill Zone, and Green Hill Zone, Green Hills, uh, the town, and they basically like have to defend it from Eggman. Um, they end up kind of outsmarting him, and he gets pushed back. Oh yeah, he got the quill, by the way. I think I mentioned that earlier. That's like his source of power for all of these like crazy inventions or whatever. Um, but anyway, he gets pushed back into a ring. Sonic like gets him pushed into a ring or whatever to the mushroom planet, so he's stuck there. And then that's kind of it, and the day is saved. That's like the short version, obviously, but the day is saved. Uh, Tom and Sonic and the wife, they all like are hanging out there, and um, Sonic gets to live there with them. That's kind of nice. Um, the government comes and gives them an Olive Garden like gift card for $50. You think the government, they could have like unlimited Olive Garden or something. There's a bunch of Olive Garden jokes. Obviously, it's like sponsored by them or whatever, but it's just kind of odd. Like they're just kind of thrown in there at random times. But yeah, I mean, funny enough. Whatever. It's kind of an obvious advertisement, though. Uh, But anyway, yeah, so, you know, in the end, Sonic gets to live there with them, and uh, it's a nice moment, because they all have bonded. Now they're a family and stuff, and it's good. Then we cut back to Eggman on the other planet, and he's, like, shaved his head, and he's got, like, the wily mustache, you know, the iconic Eggman look. But, you know, of course, we saw this in the trailer, and we're like, oh my god, what if he's gonna look like that the whole time? And, of course, he didn't look like that the whole time, but, it's literally, like, right at the end of the movie. And then there's, like, a post-credit scene with Tails. So, and, you know, my boy Tails, like, my favorite Sonic character. That's part of what I liked about the other movie, was that Tails was in there, and Knuckles, who's awesome. So yeah, I mean, I don't, like, it's kind of like, I mean, when I did the Mario movie, I had, I think, more to talk about, but, like, all of that, just, like, it's just a really fun and enjoyable movie. There's just jokes and stuff that, like, I can't really recount, because they're just, you know, there's a ton of them. I can't remember every single little line. And in that regard, maybe it's less memorable than the Mario movie in some ways. Like, I know the Mario movie, I could recite, like, most of the lines. But I had seen that, like, twice recently when I had reviewed that. I haven't seen this one since, like, probably 2020, you know, or whatever. Definitely since, like, 2020. But it's a fun watch. Definitely a good movie. And a good adaptation of Sonic. I think if you have to put Sonic in the real world, that's what everyone was kind of saying. Why not just do, like, an animated Sonic, kind of like what Mario did? Um, but if you're gonna do this concept, I think it was done really well, and I had a good time with the movie, for sure. So yeah, I mean, it's good. It's a fun movie. It has a lot of laughs. It has a lot of stupid moments. Not a lot of. It has a couple of stupid moments, but they're few and far between, and they're really not, like, you can just kind of shake them off, you know, and that's fine. The action's good. The music is fine, but it's just lacking all of that iconic Sonic stuff. The characters are all good, and they all work together, and they all feel like they have good chemistry. The standout, like being Sonic, or Eggman as well, is another standout character for sure. Any scene he's in, he pretty much steals the scene, Jim Carrey, so that's good. Kind of sucks that he's not going to be playing Eggman, I guess, in the next movie or something. Or maybe they just won't make it for a while, and then he'll come back to play Eggman. Like, I mean, I haven't played much of Sonic Adventure 2, but I have seen a lot of it, and I know Eggman is an integral character in that storyline, so you can't really do Shadow without Eggman. I mean, that's just not a thing, so you're gonna need Eggman, or you're gonna recast, or you're gonna... Doesn't matter. Anyway, so yeah, I liked it. It was a good movie, especially when it came out. It was probably, like, one of the best video game movies at the time. Still making it one of the best video game movies, because there hasn't been a lot of great video game movies released since then. If we're not counting, like, fan films and stuff, it's definitely in the top 5 or top echelon of video game movies there. I would say with Silent Hill, and obviously the Mario Brothers movie from 1993. Obviously, no, I'm just kidding. The Super Mario Brothers movie, the new one from 2023. Yeah, the 93 one is pretty good too, but it's, like, not in the same league, you know, so you know, up there with the greats, I would say, definitely. But Sonic 2, now that's the one. We'll see how I feel about it next time, but that's the one that I'm like, oh my god, yeah, that's definitely up there. That could be a contender for best video game movie. I still think Super Mario Brothers has it right now. I think. I mean, God, I haven't seen Silent Hill in a while. I'll have to watch that again. But I like that one too. I think that's a really good adaptation. But Super Mario Brothers, really fun movie. Like I said, it's great. So yeah, but this is definitely up there in that range. So very enjoyable. It's a good movie, good adaptation. I'm gonna give it a solid like 9 out of 10 kind of thing. Um, I think that's fair. So yeah, until next time, stick around for more underrated movies based on video games, I guess. Um, Gotta go fast, you know? Uh, that's a wrap. Finn.